Last season, for Manchester United to play in the Carabao Cup final that Ten Hag really went ahead to win against Newcastle, we first had to knock out Nottingham Forest. It was a double header ending, I think, 3-1 in favor of Man United at the City ground. And then when they came to Old Trafford, they are also beaten. I think it was like 2-0, and they found themselves moving to where they were supposed to be. And last season went ahead to really get a double over them at Old Trafford and at the City ground. But this time round, our visit to the City ground was really toxic, that Man United went ahead to lose by 2-1 at the City ground. Welcome to the United Matters channel. The FA Cup returns, that is today. Teams like Man City are going to be playing today, but Man United is going to be playing tomorrow as we really play our way at Nottingham Forest. A game that is dubbed not to be easy, and according to how unpredictable United is, you really ask yourself what United is really going to come up, because if you look at the game of Fulham at Old Trafford, these players never turned up. They never turned up, and their body language was like, we are not bothered. We are not bothered. So, amid these other injuries we really had, you need to obviously say to it that your players put their bodies on the line. And last season, we went ahead to play in the final of the FA Cup, where we were beaten by Man City by 2-1. So, we are really having the only chance of winning a trophy is in this tournament, and I don't know how the players are really serious onto it, because if they play as we played against Fulham at Old Trafford, Nottingham Forest will really annihilate us, because they are a side that has a very hostile crowd at their stadium. They keep going, they never stop, and they keep all their efforts high. Though they're really having some huge injuries that might really prevent them from obviously going to where they deserve to be, but you anticipate that they can put up a show. Ibrahim Sangare, Willy Boyle, and Ola Aina, they all picked up injuries during the African Cup of Nations, so there is no currently a defined time frame for them to return. Chris Wood is also out. Nuno Tavares is one of those that's going to hit to pick up an injury, and Taiwo, our knee, is also one of those that is really out. So they're going to be relying on to Anthony Elanga, Gibson White, Calmson Odoi, the Danilos of this world. Origi might come in through to do the needful, Dominguez, and very many others. So that might be the starting 11 of the side of Nottingham Forest. But for Man United, Casemiro really got a head injury. We don't know how far it has gone, and we will wait and see the press conference that Ten Hag is going to be holding today onto the progress of this guy that is Casemiro. Then you don't have Rasmus Højlund, Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez, Tyrell Malacia, Anton Martial, and Mason Mount. All those are really out. For Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we don't know whether we are going to be getting a very good update on his return, because if there is a player would love to return, it's supposed to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka, as we prepare to play into what we call the Manchester Derby on Sunday. Because if Bissaka returns, that means we'll be having some good balance. You can play Laro onto the left back and put Bissaka onto the right back. By the way, I really thought that Bissaka was returning very soon. That's why in my probable starting 11, when you're playing against Fulham, I went ahead to really put Bissaka there. But Lindelof really looked a weak link, to an extent that all the 2 goals that we conceded were the result of us being exposed in there for you. Playing that side, we're not having a player who tracks back very well, to obviously gives you the energy. Also really prevents our progress onto that side. Rokan David is my name. Let's see close to 200 likes watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Nottingham's last fixture in the Premier League, they played away at Aston Villa. Aston Villa went ahead to beat them by 4-2. So it shows you that they can score goals. But Man United had gone ahead to score almost 2 goals in the first half for the previous games they played, but in the game of Fulham they only managed to really score only 1. So that shows you that the effect of Rasmus Højlund is continuing to affect the club of Man United. So we just wait to see when Rasmus Højlund is going to be ready to come in through and really take us miles. A player that had gone ahead to score in 6 consecutive Premier League games ever since he came in through, meaning that he had really gotten to where he deserves to be. Erik ten Hag is a manager, and I've gone ahead to see people saying he needs to get a style of play, and people forget that you can only play how you want to play when you're really having your first 11. That is it. And the problem Man United is having is players that start in the first 11 are not of the same quality like those that come off the bench. You get? So we need to build a team, and everyone needs to relax. People think that the problems that Manchester United has been facing for the last 10 years are going to be solved in 1 or 2 seasons. One of the hugest problems that's going to have to be solved, that is the board issue. And after that board issue has been solved, then we need to do the needful and really get better. But we won't forget the day we went at Nottingham Forest and we lost 2-1, So we have to really put up or live up to the expectations. Anthony Elanga is another one, our OB that's high, who is really ready to see to it that he obviously annihilates us, because he's really in fine form and is scoring in goals and really creating goals for fun at that side. Let's go to this probable lineup of Man United and see who do I think is going to start and who do I think is really going to be rested. Remember, we are playing Man City in the Manchester derby, meaning that Ten Hag might opt to obviously rest some players and maybe give them what we call limited minutes, to really suit the occasion of Man City. But my big question was, those players had not played for 7 days, but they came out and orchestrated a very poor performance on the field of play. It's like they had played on Wednesday or Thursday. Their bodies looked tired, the intensity was not enough, and they couldn't match the side of Fulham. So, in goal, people would say Atil Bendair would have gone ahead to be given a chance. No way. I think Andre Onana is going to start. That was really confirmed to us by Erik ten Hag when obviously came in through and really gave Andre Onana the game of Wigan that we opened up with in the FA Cup. We won it by 2-1. Played away at Newport, and we beat them by 4-2. And it's really not playing in our favor that we haven't gone ahead to obviously play any game at home. Remember, last season, almost our games in all knockout competitions, that is the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, we played them at home and went ahead to annihilate these teams. So that is Andre Onana. Expect him to start in goal. Right back, obviously maintaining Diallo to play into that position. You saw him against Fulham. He had almost a shot bruise the outside of the bottom post, and he really looked good. That is Diallo for you. Then the left back, if Bissaka is not back, I think it's going to be Lindelof again to be played as a left back. But I would love to see Ten Hag really switch. Play Lindelof as a right back and get Diallo playing as a left back, such that he really gets some good balance and close that side. Because we saw to it that we are really vulnerable when you're playing against Fulham on the left side. Even when Luke Shaw got off and Lindelof came in through to play as a left back when you're playing Aston Villa, we were real vulnerable. Then in the central defense, I expect some changes to be made, as Harry Maguire, I expect him to start on the right. Then on the left, I think Johnny Evans is going to be given a go into this game of football. Rafael Varane has to be rested. To me, he has to be rested for the City derby. That is, he has to be rested for that derby. Now, in the double pivot, I think there is a player that is going to be rested. He's going to be rested. And I think it's going to be Casemiro and Amrabat. I think Amrabat is going to start this game. If Casemiro will be rested, I don't know. But either Casemiro or Kobe Mainoo, one of those, is going to be rested by this manager, because we are really having a very huge game at Man City, over the weekend, and we need these people. So I'm anticipating that either Casemiro or Kobe Mainoo will be rested. That is it. Then in the central attack midfield, this guy is not going to be rested, but I think it's high time they really got they got him out of this team and will maybe get Ericsson to play into his position, that is Bruno Fernandes. But Ten Hag looks like he's not gonna really stop playing this lad, and he's been wasteful. He has gone ahead to cost the side of Man United on several occasions, and you people have gone ahead to back my reasoning on Bruno Fernandes. It's not that I don't like him, I like the player, but this player is really having huge issues, in as far as this is really concerned. So that is the central attack midfielder, that is Bruno Fernandes. And the change I expect to happen is this onto the right attacking side of the midfield. I think it's high time this guy got into the starting 11 of Man United for the very first time in the era of Eric Ten Hag in a competitive competition. That is Amad Diallo. I think it's high time Amad Diallo got into the starting 11, because Fosun Omari was brought in, and I think he never showed that he deserved to play close to 60 minutes. That is it. So Amad Diallo now has to get his chance to get into this team and really get all those minutes in there for you. Remember, when he played against Nottingham Forest, he really gave us a very beautiful cameo, and we really felt like it was a start of him getting more and more minutes. But it's been a month, almost months, since he last went ahead to play for the side of Manchester United in the starting 11 or even get minutes. And he got minutes against Fulham and really put in a very beautiful performance that was really lauded by the manager himself, that is Eric Ten Hag. On the left attacking side of the midfield, it's going to be none other than Alejandro Garnacho to do the job in there for you. So Alejandro Garnacho is going to play as a left attacking midfielder, and he sometimes looks selfish, right? And I think sometimes he should make easy decisions. But I saw him really trying to really get the responsibility of really winning the game for Man United when you're playing against Fulham, but all was in vain. A lot really prevented his efforts from really getting United. Marcus Rashford leading the line, and I'm having a submission today here onto this video that why don't you think Ten Hag? I think Ten Hag should get Scott McTominay and play him as a number 9. That is it. Get him to play as a number 9. After him playing as a number 9, take Rashford on the left, or Garnacho on the right, because he does nothing. I'm talking about Scott McTominay when he plays in the midfield. But I think that team is really good enough to really put in a challenge against Nottingham Forest, because all those players are really of quality. So it's all about the intensity. How are we going to really act, when you're playing against this team? Because that's the most important bit of it all. If we really come with the intention to win, we will win. If we really come and really so if you really come up with an intention, that really has positive vibes, I think it will obviously act that way, and it will act in our favor. So let's wait and see how Ten Hag is going to be lining up. But I think that's how Ten Hag is going to be lining up for the club of Man United. When we go to the head-to-head stats that you people need to know, and then I give you my prediction. 1. Nottingham Forest have progressed from 4 of their 5 previous cup ties against Man United, although the only exception was the most recent, losing in the 3rd round of that. So they've progressed, from 4 of their previous FA Cup ties against Man United. So they really have a very good record, against us. Man United have already lost at City Ground this season, losing their Premier League visit in a 2-1 defeat in December. The Red Devils last lost back-to-back away games against Nottingham in all competitions in December 1984. So we are waiting to see how that happens, whether they really get a back-to-back wins over us at their stadium. Thirdly, Nottingham Forest are aiming to reach the FA Cup quarter-final for the 2nd time in the last 3 seasons, also 2021, 2022, after having reached the last 8 in 2 of their previous 30 campaigns prior to this. So whoever wins on this round, that's the 5th round, is going to be playing in the quarterfinal, meaning that he will be left with 2 games to play the final. So Ten Hag is going to be very eager. Fourthly, Man United are looking to reach the FA Cup final for what would be a record 48th time. They are currently tied with Everton on 47 quarterfinals appearance in the competition. So that's Man United for you in this oldest tournament. So we want to get to the final, to the quarterfinal for the 48th time. Then lastly, Nottingham Forest have drawn 3 of their FA Cup games this season, with both their third and fourth round ties going to a replay. The last Premier League club to draw 4 or more games in a single FA Cup campaign were Middlesbrough under Gareth Southgate, 2006 and 2007. So, you've known what it does when you draw. It's a replay. So for me, I wouldn't like to see us really knocked out of this tournament. That is it. But I see a draw written all over this game. If we win, I'm going to be surprised, by the way. I'm going to be surprised if we win. I see a draw of like 2-2 or 1-1 draw, and then that tie will be referred to Old Trafford for a replay. That is it. And that replay will be happening when at least most of the players of United are really back. So my prediction is a draw, 1-1 or 2-2. I don't see us winning that game, by the way. And I think Nottingham really even have an edge to really beat us, because the body language of these players of Man United is really very annoying, and it really puts you in a situation of not even being optimistic. You know, you become pessimistic because of what these players are capable of downing tools every time you really believe that they've gone ahead to live up to the occasion and really get us going and taking us to where we deserve to be. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. What are your predictions for Nottingham Forest versus Man United FA Cup tie? Who do you think should start? Who do you think shouldn't start? That is my probable starting 11 that I believe would obviously get us in there. For Amrabat, I think we need his energy drive in that midfield to really get us going and going and going and going. So that is it. So I sign out for now, guys. See you later, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David is my name. Ciao, ciao.